The 417 Gamers is a group of board, tabletop, and card gamers in the 417 area code. This is the podcast. Welcome to the 417 Gamer Podcast, episode 20, Expansion Edition. In the 4, Andrea and I talk about 4 things we're looking forward to or have enjoyed in the 417 area. We talk best of luck game nights with metagames, Tremendicon, Food Truck Rally, and MoonCityCon, of course. In our one topic of the episode, we review the Dragon Wrangling action selection game, Wyrmspan, published by Stonemaier Games. And in the 7, we talk 7 more train games because 7 wasn't enough. Yeah, it wasn't enough. We got more. We actually have more after that, but 7 in the previous episode, 7 here. That's enough. Or is it? No, it is. It is. All right. Welcome to the 417 Gamer Podcast. Welcome to the 417 Gamer Podcast. My name's Rick.
And I'm Andrea.
In the expansion episodes, we talk about 4 things that we're looking forward to or have enjoyed in the 417 area. Andrea, what's our first topic?
We have been enjoying going to the Best of Luck board game night. It is the first and third Tuesday of the month from 6 to 9 p.m. Sponsored by Metagames Unlimited, where they'll bring out a good selection of games. Mm-hmm. And we also bring out our games, and other people bring their games as well. There was 11 of us last time we went. Mm-hmm. You have really nice tables at Best of Luck.
Long German beer hall style tables.
Yeah, so you are able to bring out your big table hog games there. Of course, they have a good selection of adult beverages.
Yeah.
And some non-alcoholic as well. They have a kitchen there. I don't know if when you go, the kitchen will be open. Sometimes
they've been doing some remodeling.
Yes.
The beer list is still open, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Last couple times we've been warned that they're working on the kitchen, and we were allowed to get outside food, but please drink there.
Yes.
So we were happy to drink there.
Yeah. So every time we've gone, it's grown just a little bit more. Mm-hmm. And there are a lot of people who have been going who can't make it out to the Thursday night game night, or
absolutely. Schedules don't always work perfectly, so you just kind of try and game when you can.
That is right. But yeah, we've been enjoying going to that.
Yeah. That's on, I think it's 313B South Jefferson.
It's right behind Zyka Indian Restaurant.
Mm-hmm. So the next topic is going to be Tremendicon. Tremendicon is going to take place May 31st through June 1st and 2nd at the Oasis Convention Center in Springfield, Missouri. Tremendicon is 3 days of creator conventions by creators for creators. Mm-hmm. They're going to have gaming, cosplay, some different panels. Some of them are going to be instructional panels. Mm-hmm. If you want to know how to get yourself published, if you want some tips on drawing exercises, how to draw better, painting, cosplay.
Lots of workshops.
Yeah. They're trying to facilitate helping you enjoy your craft more or better, or even just more passion.
Yeah, make some connections.
Yeah. We enjoy that. We're friends of them, and, show them some love.
Absolutely. And they will also be at MoonCityCon.
They will be. So come say hi to Tremendicon. The 3rd...
on June the 8th, mm-hmm. from 11 to 7 p.m. is the 2024 Ozarks Food Truck Rally at the Ozark Empire Fairgrounds. They're going to have over 40 vendors there, all different kinds of food trucks, so barbecue, corn dogs, tacos. If it can fit in a food truck, they'll have it.
Yeah, they're going to have over 24 trucks.
The admission is free, and the parking is free. Normally at the Ozark Empire Fairgrounds, you have to pay to park.
Oh, yeah.
But both admission and parking are free. They'll have music and beer in addition to all the food at the food trucks. So that sounds like a really good time.
I think so. You know what else is going to be a really good time?
What's that?
MoonCityCon!
Woo!
MoonCityCon 2024 comes back to the Hilton Garden Inn, June 21st through the 23rd. We have over 20 play-to-wins. Mm-hmm. Our cap on attendees is 200 people. We're rapidly approaching that. We're past the halfway point.
Yes.
As we sell tickets, usually we have that front-end rush. We have the middle lull. We're starting to ramp back up. Mm-hmm. Get your tickets sooner than later.
Yes.
I mean, right now we still have quite a few as of this recording, but as we get closer and people start looking at their vacation schedules and finding out that they can swing MoonCityCon, we're going to see some more people. But with over 20 play-to-wins, I mean, that's a 10% chance of walking away with a play-to-win game. That's a pretty good odds.
And that's not even including the door prize games.
Door prizes, we have some tournaments. Already, a lot of our attendees are already scheduling their own games. I mean, if you like your economic games, there's like Coffee Traders. There's some train games scheduled. If you like your social games, there's a game of Werewolf scheduled, as well as some Blood on the Clock Tower. Mm-hmm. Our annual pitch car, Battling Tops. Ben's got his Commander Night for the third straight year. Lots of things planned. Get your tickets at mooncity.com. Come out and play some games in the 417.
And every single review that we had from last year from attendees was an A+.
And we're trying to re-earn those reviews.
That is right.
You know, we definitely sat there like, oh, they liked us.
Yeah.
We want them to like us again. So we're putting in the effort, absolutely. Yes. Come play some games. mooncitycon.com.
Get your
So
tickets
those are the
now.
4 things that we have either enjoyed or are looking forward to in the 417 area. Andrea, the one is our topic of the show. What do you think we should do? Go to that?
I'm ready.
All right. Hey guys, this is probably not quite the last ad I'm going to do for MoonCityCon, but it's close, it's close. We want you to come play games with us. Go to mooncitycon.com to get your badges. Come out and play games. There's play-to-wins. There's door prizes. Great vendors. We're on the south side of town where there's some really awesome food options. Play some games with some friends. And if you don't have them, come out. We'll help you make some friends. mooncitycon.com. Come play games. The one in the 417 Gamer podcast is our topic of the show. What is our topic for this episode?
Well, I think we should review Wyrmspan.
Yeah, you love you some Wyrmspan, don't you?
I do.
So
I loved it before I even got it.
So Wyrmspan, who's our designer on Wyrmspan?
Connie Vogelman.
Uh-huh. Artist is Clementine Campardu. Published by Stonemaier Games. It came out this year, 2024. Mm-hmm. And it's based on the Elizabeth Hargrave Wyrmspan system.
Yes.
So, let's see here. Let's get the description from the publisher. They could probably do it more justice than we can. The description: you are an amateur dracologist in the world of Wyrmspan, a place where dragons of all shapes, sizes, and colors roam the skies. Excavate a hidden labyrinth you recently unearthed on your land and entice these beautiful creatures to roost in the sanctuary of your caves. Do you feel like you're doing that?
I do. If you have played Wyrmspan before, learning this game is a lot easier.
Yeah.
Because the board looks very similar, the cards very similar, the actions you take very similar. There are differences, and we had somebody say the other day, well, why do I need Wyrmspan if I have Wyrmspan? They're different enough that I think you could easily have both in your collection, and we do, and we'll keep both.
Yeah.
I think that they both have enough merit to stand on their own. Also, it is simple enough that I think it is an easier teach and an easier play than Wyrmspan. Wyrmspan is a little bit easier to teach than Wyrmspan, I think. Agree. Because I feel like I could teach it, and I've only played it 3 times now, and I feel like I could teach it. Wingspan, the first time I tried to teach it, I was so confident that because I'd played it many times, I was like, oh, I can teach it. And I told you to go off and do something else, and I would teach this group.
Yeah.
And then I got maybe a fourth of the way into the teach, and I was like, Rick, I don't remember. Wait, what? So, yes,
But that was early into your gaming too.
That's true. That was
the first, I would say, upper light to lower medium weight game to where you're like, I'm going to teach this. I'm like, by all means.
Yes.
I'm here if you need me.
Right.
So, I mean, and if you've played enough games and tried to teach enough games, you crash and burn on some.
It's true. I always have to look up. I suppose I could have looked up the answers in the rule book, but
you were trying to get people to the game.
I was like, hey, wait, how many resources do we start with?
And a Thursday game night with the 417 gamers, our time is finite.
Yes.
And the more time you're looking in the rule book than getting people to game, the less time you're gaming.
Exactly.
So the way we rate these games, we have 5 criteria. We look at presentation, component, rulebook, gameplay, theme, and then it factor, how much we want to play it. We add up we grade them on a 0 to 5 scale. Use decimal points if you want. Barry is unvelcroing my shoes. Add it up and divide by possible score. That's a grade. So presentation, Wyrmspan.
The box is beautiful. Yes. It has beautiful pastel art on it, a big dragon with spread wings, different dragon art around the sides. The box, very eye-catching. The interior board and cards, again, very similar to Wingspan. If you passed and glanced, you might have to take a stop and see which one it is. But the art on the cards is wonderful.
And the speckled eggs.
And the eggs are very high quality.
They speckled the eggs, and that's the difference between the Wingspan eggs. They are eye-catching, and they're like, you've got green with yellow specks, you've got black with like almost silvery specks, you've got purple with they're eye-catching components. So I think it sells itself on the shelf as far as people to go grab the game, look at it front and back. Ooh, what's this?
Yeah.
And when it's on the table, people come and look at it.
They do.
So presentation-wise, I'm at 4.5.
Oh yeah, really? I'll do 4.25, but this is going to have a high score for me.
Yeah. No, it does what it needs to try and sell itself, not only in a retail aspect, but also to your friends when they look at your wall of games.
Yes.
Because the spine of the box, not enough people care as much about on your shelf, because when you're looking at your games, what are we going to play tonight?
Right.
The logo matters. And when somebody sees Wyrmspan, they're like, oh, what's that? And you explain it to them, then they'll be like either yay or nay.
Right.
And then when you lay it out for game night, those that know will come immediately, and those that don't still come in like, oh, what are you guys doing? It's this.
They do.
You have an extra spot? And sometimes you do, sometimes you don't.
And this plays up to 5, I believe.
Yes.
Correct?
That brings us to components and rulebook. We kind of leaned into this. Art is fantastic. The player boards are nice and thick.
Yes.
So are the Dragon Guild boards, the Round Tracker board.
Yes.
And the board that you put the cards on. Everything's thick cardboard, thick stock.
The cards themselves, good quality cards. They don't stick together like some, and they don't feel gritty like some cards do.
It's got that linen finish, but it's got a linen finish that doesn't seem to pick up grime.
Yes.
We have Scout from Oink Games, and that's one thing that was my big quibble with that. They have a linen-esque finish as well, but after like 5 hands of Scout, they were getting grody real quick.
Yeah, you could feel the tackiness.
And we played a handful of games of Wyrmspan. I mean, we played it all player counts at this point. We played, I think, our copy, we've played each player count.
Yeah. Now, you absolutely can upgrade the components in this game. It is already become so popular that Etsy and several other sites have upgraded components. You can get player mats as opposed to the player boards. You can get upgraded eggs and the coins and so on and so forth. So components, if you want to go all the way, there's a lot of options.
Now, I'm only at a 4.25 on the components because I do miss the birdhouse from Wyrmspan.
Yes.
And I do like the gameplay from this, from the random times you don't get what you want. But I wish there was a little bitty, like, dragon house or something.
Yeah, or a
but
big dragon with the hold the eggs or something.
I shouldn't. I'll just, I'll go 4.3. More than 4.25, but not quite 4.5.
I'll stick with 4.25, unless you have the upgraded components.
Well, we're just looking at the retail version.
Yes.
Because we may or may not have already bought the official playmats that are the neoprene playmats. And they're very nice.
They're very nice.
Gameplay. So this is an action selection game. Each round you're going to get 6 dragon coins. Those coins are what you're going to pay to do different actions. There's 3 things you can do. You can either excavate more caves. You start with 3 already excavated one in each of the 3 caves. You have a golden grotto, you have the amethyst abyss, and you have a crimson caverns. You start off with one that's already excavated, ready for a dragon to be housed if you would like. Then you can potentially excavate further. Your first excavation is, if there's a cost on the card, you pay it. Otherwise, you just play it down. The next column, you have to pay an egg off of your board. Then after that, you have to pay 2 to put the final one down. Most of your cave cards, when you put them down, have an immediate gain ability. As soon as you put it down, you get the thing. Could be getting more cave cards. Could be getting a dragon card. Could be resources. The other 2 actions is entice, and that is gaining some of the dragons to come stay at your caves.
Yes. And you have to have a cave to put a dragon in. Other than that first already provided cave. But you have to, continue on down the line, you have to have a cave to put the dragon in first.
Yep. And then the explorer option. You have a little meeple, and he starts at base camp. And whenever you go adventure, you put your coin on the cave that you're going to go to. And there's 3 spots. There's one that just costs a coin. If you go back there in the same round, it's going to cost a coin and an egg. And if you go there a 3rd time in the same round, it's going to cost a coin and 2 eggs. Then your guy starts traveling down the cave. And it depends on how many caverns you've excavated and dragon cards you've played on what you get. And every spot that he walks along, if it has the little explorer icon, it activates. It could be getting, depending on what cavern you're exploring, you could be either getting resources or dragon cards or cave cards. But if you've explored far enough, because you have stuff there, you can also activate the Dragon Guild ability, which is a sideboard, and everybody has a little shield. Each time you activate a Dragon Guild ability, your shield just pops around this little clock, and each time you do, there's something you get. You could be laying eggs, you could be getting resources, cards, and at the 6 and 12 o'clock positions, you get to put a cube out onto the bonus board. And those bonuses are going to change because you're going to randomly deal out one of the 4 Dragon Guilds. Like we played with the sea ones.
Yes.
And I like the variability there. Then you also have the variability of the end of round goals that's very reminiscent of Wyrmspan. It's an easy teach. My one knock, I don't like it at 5.
It does, especially if the people have not played before. It took us a while.
And that was my knock against Wyrmspan as well. I didn't care for Wyrmspan at 5 either. 4 was good. 3 was my sweet spot. And it's probably because we played Asia so recently. I like Wyrmspan Asia at 2, but it's designed at 2.
Yeah.
Better than this at 2. What do you think about gameplay?
I think that... you mean compared to Wyrmspan or just in general?
Both.
I'm biased because I like fantasy games and I like dragons, and this is such a ching on both.
Yeah, it is.
I would say that I expected it to be a little more dragons are big, scary things.
Yeah.
And when I heard there was going to be a dragon game, that's what I had in my head. This is more of a family-friendly dragon game because there are hatchlings and shy dragons and playful dragons. And there
got aggressive dragons.
and there are some aggressive dragons and so on and so forth. So I do appreciate that they made this family-friendly for all ages.
Yeah.
So I do appreciate that. But yeah, I love playing this game. I'd feel comfortable playing this game with anybody. So it's pretty high gameplay for me. I'm going to give it a 4.5.
4.5. So on this one, I do like it. Mm-hmm. This one's a solid 4 for me. It's easy teach, easy play. I don't like it at 5, and I will avoid it at 5 if possible. We have
lots of games like that, though.
There are, and that might just be indicative of that style of game for me at that player count.
Right.
But that's also when we go to game night, and that's indicative of what we, our own lives. Mm-hmm. We go to 417 Gamers Thursday night game night at most Thursdays. Mm-hmm. And, when you got 30 people out standing around, when the games start popping out, you have that straggler and you've already got 4 at your table. Hey, you got room for a 5th?
Yeah.
Maybe. There's a few games I'm a flat out now.
Yeah.
This one's... no.
Okay, it's good to know.
But you're probably right. I'm probably going to be a maybe.
Yeah.
All right, we'll play it.
It's just because there are a lot of options on your turn. If you're choosing a dragon card, you need to look and see which dragon cards are available. A cave card, which one so you need to read each one, and so your turn. It's not simultaneous play.
I'm going down to 3.9.
Oh no, I talked you down.
I'm just thinking of the decisions. I enjoy the decisions in Wyrmspan slightly better.
Okay.
And I think I've got Wyrmspan. Whenever we did kind of a look and review. Or just, if I was thinking of Wyrmspan's gameplay, I would put it about a 4 to 4.25.
Okay.
And I think this is just slightly below it for me.
Understood.
So 3.9 for me. That brings us to theme. The theme in this is you're a dracologist. Mm-hmm. You're studying the dragons. You're excavating. You're exploring dragons and enticing dragons.
Yes.
Is the theme of... do you like the theme? Which we kind of bypass that. And does the game evoke the theme for you?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think that they... in this... I know we're... For reviewing Wyrmspan, we've talked about Wyrmspan a lot.
Yeah.
But I do think in the spirit of Wyrmspan, as being bird themed, I like this game. I think, you've got everything from little hatchling dragons up to your big aggressive dragons. What kind of caves do they want? What kind of food do they want to eat? What do you have to make them come to you? It's great. I'm going 4.75.
All right. I'm 4.5. I think the theme is there. Tons of dragons, tons of cards, excavating, and I don't see how you could make this more thematic.
I agree.
With the mechanisms that they're using, the game plays really well. I think the theme's there.
Absolutely.
Which brings us to the it factor. How much do you really want to get this back to the table?
4.5.
4.5. Just no.
Out the gate.
Out the gate. I'm at 3.75.
That's okay. You're allowed to have a different opinion.
Aw, thanks. I like the game quite a bit. Right now, it's our new shiny.
Agreed.
And absolutely play it with other friends and family. Mm-hmm.
I don't see us. This will be a game that we're going to keep. It's not one that we're going to float down the road later on.
No.
No,
I knew we wouldn't be floating it anywhere. Yeah, this is going to stay in the collection for quite some time. And, I don't think it's going to become an Azul game to where you love playing it. And I'm like, you know what? We'll play that.
Yeah.
I enjoy playing it.
Good.
I'm interested in expansions.
Oh, I can absolutely see all kinds of expansions.
I want to see some, mean dragons and some hateful dragons and some selfish dragons. But, and then maybe even, I don't know, they could do other stuff.
Absolutely. They could add a new resource. There's lots of...
Yeah.
There's lots of...
Jewelry. Well, they have an amethyst in there.
They do. And gold.
Goat.
Gold. Not goat. Yeah, they could add goat.
Well, you got meat. You got meat, you got dragon's milk, you have amethyst and gold.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they could add... There's lots of things they could add.
Hobbit.
I think that's a different franchise.
Halfling.
There you go.
All right. So, presentation, Andrea was at a 4.25. I was at 4.5. Components and rulebook, Andrea was at 4.25. I had it at a 4.3. Gameplay, Andrea was at 4.5. Really strong there. I'm at 3.9. Don't know why. It felt right there. Theme, Andrea's at 4 3/4. Almost a 5. I'm at a 4.5. Then the it factor, Andrea would really like to play this. She'd probably play it again right now if we could. She's at 4.5. I'm at 3.75. Our total cumulative score, Andrea's at 22.25. I'm at 20.95. Divided by possible points, Andrea, your score for Wyrmspan is 89.
Nice.
So almost 90. Mine is 83.8, which bumps it up just to an 84.
It would have gone up above a 90 if there was another addition to this game where you get to get on and ride the dragons.
Yeah.
Then it gets A+.
So maybe that's an expansion.
There you go.
A little riding module.
Yes. Flight training.
All right. Andrea's at an 89. I've been at an 84. That's Wyrmspan. We like it. Go play it.
Yes.
That's the review, the episode of the week. We usually do a 7, don't we?
We do. Let's move on to the 7.
All right. You've heard us talk about how much fun that we have playing games in the 417 area. How do you link up with the 417 Gamers? Well, we're on Meetup at meetup.com/417Gamers. Or we have a YouTube page at youtube.com/417Gamers. And every first of the month, we list all of the gaming events that you can expect in the 417 area. Check those out, see where the games are, come out and play some games with the 417 Gamers. The 7 in the 417 Gamer podcast is our 7 in a category. In episode 20, Logan came on and we talked
train games.
Yeah, we had 7 of our favorite train games. We're going to talk about 7 more. The big one that we probably should have had on our list somewhere, but we didn't, is
Ticket to Ride, the train game.
It is the train game amongst families. This came out in 2004, designed by Alan R. Moon, published by Days of Wonder.
Wait, it came out in 2004? Mm-hmm. It didn't exist before 2004.
It didn't.
There was no Ticket to Ride.
There was no Ticket to Ride.
I thought... wow.
It sold millions of copies.
Yeah, but it's everywhere. I just thought it had been around forever.
It's big enough to be in the department stores. It was one of the first hobby games. That, Catan, Carcassonne.
Yeah.
Maybe King of Tokyo. Mm-hmm. There was like a handful that started going into your Targets, your Walmarts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, Ticket to Ride, it's hand management, set collection, open drafting on your turn. You're either drawing cards or you're playing tracks, or potentially getting more routes. Whoever has the most points wins.
As usual.
What do you think about Ticket to Ride?
I think it is fantastic for an introductory game into the hobby.
It's fantastic for families.
Yeah.
I have great memories of this game with my family at Christmas time. My late grandfather wanted to play the train game. He kept his cards completely open. Everybody saw what routes he was trying to go for. He had his train cards were the only ones that he kept in hand. And as soon as he got a route done, he just rotated it, got that one done. And then when he was done with them, you want to get another route? Nope. Just going to play some more trains.
I got my route done.
But, yeah, it's sentimental reasons why I will never, ever get rid of this game.
Yes.
It's a fantastic family game.
Of course.
But The next one on our list, and we'll just say number 2. Not
Sure.
really in any order on this one. Just we picked 7 more train games that we like. And if you hear a click click in the background, our Berry dog is chewing on a ball.
Yes.
And dropping it.
Paris Connection.
Paris Connection. This came out in 2010. Designed by John Borer, and it was published by Queen Games.
And also not terribly far from an introductory weight game.
No.
I would say. Because we've played it with newbies before.
And it plays 6.
Yeah.
And it plays 6 well.
It does.
If you go on Board Game Geek, they kind of have their community what they think it's best at. It plays 3 to 6, and at 3, I think it's fine. 4, it's good. 5, it's excellent. 6,
6 was great.
I think it's great at 6.
Yeah.
So on your turn, you're either going to do one of two things. You're going to build track, which is putting some trains on the board, or you're going to... Everybody starts with some little trains behind their board. That acts as not only placing track, those components, but it's also your stocks.
Yeah. Now, is this the only game that you know of where the train itself acts as both the stock and the track laying?
I think there's a couple others, but I can't remember. When I first got into it, I played Paris Connection, and I think somebody pulled out another one that has some other nuance to it that wasn't quite as easy to get into. I'll have to look at it. This John Borer, that is the designer, he's designed several train games, and I think he has another one that's kind of in the mechanics.
Okay.
But yeah, on your turn, you're either going to lay track on the public board, or you're going to take one of your secret trains, put it out there on the public board, and take 2 of a different color. At the end of the game, depending on how many points that each color track has gained, people will gain that many points, multiply how many trains of that color they have behind their board.
Yeah.
Pretty easy to teach, pretty easy to play. Plays in about 30... I would say if you're playing 6, it might push 45 minutes.
Sure.
But it's an easy teach, easy play.
Yeah, and quite fun.
And for 6 players, super.
Yes.
Next.
Iberian Gauge.
This is designed by Amabel Holland and designed by Ian O'Toole, published by Capstone Games. This is in the Iron Rail series from Capstone Games. I am used to most train games looking kind of ugly, with the exception of some of Queen stuff, Queen games, and Ticket to Ride. Ticket to Ride looks fantastic.
Yes, very colorful.
But, so Iberian Gauge, people invest in train companies and expand. You're going to play a series of rounds, and at the start of rounds, there's going to be an auction phase where people auction off the shares. And then however much you auction the share off for, that's how much money is going to go into that company to be able to buy track. So you kind of want some money into the company so it can build track, but at the same time, when it does dividends, you don't want to push it too high because you might hamstring your monies.
Right.
Because whatever you push up is what you've got to invest out of your own monies.
Right.
As the game goes on, other people can hop in on your train that you have shares in, and either work with you, work against you, or try and overtake you. But there's another one we're going to talk about here in a minute that's an easier version of this. I think the decisions in this are crunchier and more rewarding.
Yeah.
The next one, Andrea?
Irish Gauge.
Also by Amabel Holland, artist Ian O'Toole, and published by Capstone Games. This is the first in the series of the Iron Rails. This one's easier to get to the table. It's easier to teach. The decisions are still interesting, but it's also that litmus test for your friends. If they like the Ticket to Ride and the Paris Connection, like, oh, I like train games. Throw them into this. It's still pretty easy. And if they're done, they're like, then you kind of know which way to go train games-wise.
All right.
You might have hit their ceiling. But at the same time, if they're like, ooh, this is really good, I'm like, okay, now we can start pulling you down the rabbit hole. Then you start getting them towards the, the Age of Steams and stuff like that later. Or,
nice.
the Iberian gauge we just talked about.
That's right.
What number are we on, Andrea?
We are moving on to number 5, which is Cult Express.
Cult Express is a programming game. There is a 3D cardboard train, and you have various people that could be robbers. They could be sheriffs. You have meeples that are on train cars. They could be inside the car, or they could be up top. If you're up top, it is easier for you to run to the back of the train because you have the wind at your back. It's harder to go forward. If you're in the train cars, you can move one at a time. That's the best you can do. Mm-hmm. But what you're going to do is everybody's going to put cards face down in a programming method. Then once everybody's programmed their movement, you're going to flip over in turn order. Then everybody's going to start moving. So you may have a movement card, you may have a shoot card, you may have a steal card. It's funny because you could play a steal card on somebody that was in your train, but they moved before you got to steal. And it's that image of the close grab from the movie, thematically. Like they moved to the train, you're like, and you went to grab, and there was nobody there. It's a cute programming game. This is designed by Christoph Rembal and is published by... it's not published... I think it's Asmodee, but I'm not... Ludonaut is who the listed publisher on BGG is. Came out in... The big box came out in 2022, but it's a fun little game. I think you would really like it. You haven't got to play this one
I have not
yet.
played this one yet.
So we'll put this on our radar.
It looks really good.
We'll make sure you get it played. The next one is our number 6. What's that?
Empire Builder.
Empire Builder takes the place of a lot of Crayon Rails games, which I haven't introduced you to yet. Mm-hmm. I actually cleared quite a bit out of our collection because I don't play them, but I kept Empire Builder, Empire Builder Express, and Iron Dragon. So in this game, everybody starts with some money to start their company, and on your turn, you build track, and you building over just you're taking a crayon and you're connecting dots.
Okay.
The boards do not look very good. They really look not that appealing.
Little bland.
Very bland. But it's what you need for the crayons. Because as you're drawing the crayons, that's your railroad. After everybody's built, then you move. You have a little marker. That's your train, quote unquote. And you move it around. To start off, your train can move only so many sections. And can only carry 2 cargo. And it's a pick-up-deliver, where you got to go pick up resources and then deliver it. And everybody has these little order cards. You have 3 difficulties of orders. The top one is your quickest, easiest in general, or it's the cheapest one to do. It may actually not be the quickest for you to do, depending on where you're in the U.S. Mm-hmm. Middle one, it's got a longer lead time to get to. And then the bottom one is the longest. So you might want salmon from the West Coast, and you got to deliver it to Frankfort, Kentucky, or something like that.
Yeah.
So play your card, deliver it, get some money. Whenever you fulfill a contract, you draw another card. Mm-hmm. Shuffled in the deck are events. And the events, once in a blue moon, are good, but by and large, they're bad.
Oh, no.
They could be like tornadoes tear up track in the Midwest.
Ooh, that happens.
It does. It could be hurricanes hit the East Coast. And then it'll tell you specifically, it's got a grid coordinate system. Track in these areas, or some have coordinate systems. Some of them are specific to a location. So within 5 sections of Savannah, they all get destroyed.
Right.
Old Faithful are up. So... X places from Montana, gone. Mm-hmm. Which means, on your next turn, it's up to you with your money. Do you rebuild that track, or do you even need it yet?
Right.
And it sucks, because it costs a lot of money to build those tracks. Not a pretty game, but very fun. Very punishing. If you don't like random events just completely hosing your game, this might rub you the wrong way. But there's also something childish about just drawing with a crayon on a board to play a game.
Of course. And then smashing it with a tornado.
Yeah. Number 7, our final game is...
the Ticket to Ride small box series.
Yeah, we did a Ticket to Ride sandwich.
Yes.
So we love the big box Ticket to Ride for families.
Yes.
But when you and I are wanting a little Ticket to Ride experience, like a game before bed or in between doing chores, sit down, play something a little quick, and go do some more chores.
20, 30-minute game.
There is about 4 or 5 in this series. There's New York, there's London, San Francisco, Amsterdam, Berlin, and I think a 6th one is coming or has come out. Each one has its own little wrinkle. London, you are trying to connect different areas of London. You get victory points or bonus victory points. In San Francisco, you're trying to connect souvenirs. There are little souvenir tokens that go out on the board.
And it's a trolley.
Yeah, they're trolleys. London is the double-decker buses.
Yes.
New York is cabs. But we really like it. It's still designed by Alan R. Moon, published by Days of Wonder. The artists vary on some of them. They're similar in art. I think Cyril Dewan and Julian Devay are some of the artists on this project. But
each of them's just a little bit different. They're not all the same. You're like, well, why would I get all of them? Because they're all different and they're all fun.
And you know, if you're somebody that's traveled to these towns, pop it out. I'm like, oh, I remember that.
Yeah, I've been on this street.
I've been on, Fisherman's Wharf, or I was on Broadway. Blah 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 blah. But that is 7 more train games that Andrea and I enjoy.
Yes.
Or I think I've played all these. You haven't. You're missing 3 of these.
Yes.
We need to get you played.
We should.
Yeah.
Let's do it right now.
No. Empire Builders, no.
Okay, all right.
And we don't have Cult Express.
Well, we'll have to fix that.
When it came out, it was, I think it was a contender for Spiel des Jahres, the Game of the Year, and several people in the group had it, and that was when I first started being able to pull myself back from buying every game. I still buy a lot of games. But when like 3, 4, 5 in the group were buying that game, like, oh, I don't need to buy that.
Right.
There's 4 people that have it.
Well, maybe they'll have it at Geekway and we can take it from their library.
Yeah, we should go to Geekway and play that. Speaking of, maybe we saw you at Geekway, because this will drop the day after we get back from Geekway.
Yeah.
But thank you for listening, and keep gaming in the 417.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. The 417 Gamer Podcast is recorded and produced by Rick Bagwell and Andrea Smith. The music we use, Kind, Gentle, Beautiful Person, and Making Up for Lost Time, was created by Origami Replica. We want to thank Logan for coming on last episode. If you want links to the music and the show notes, head over to our Facebook page at facebook.com/Hobby Gaming Network. If you would like to game with us, join us on the 417 Gamer page on Facebook or meetup.com/417gamers. But until next episode, keep gaming in the 417.